You've been following the trial very, very closely in your coverage. Your sense yesterday, are you surprised the judge decided to open it up beyond murder 2 to manslaughter?
No, not really. I predicted the judge would do that. I thought that manslaughter was the only possible rap they could have brought from the get-go because it requires no more than culpable or criminal negligence. Unlike, murder in the second degree, which requires a depraved mind and ill will and hatred and all the rest. It never was that. This was a case brought because of political pressure, race politics in this country. I hate to say it, I hold the Reverend Al Sharpton in much higher regard than many of my colleagues. I won't speak for any of you presently, but I think I do. But I totally believe that the Reverend Al is the catalyst behind the murder 2 charge 6 weeks after the incident. I believe the original prosecutor got it right. I think it is a self-defense situation, a classic self-defense when you strip it of all of the trappings. That should have been the charge manslaughter at best if any charge was going to be brought. The fact that they are resorting to it now is a sign of the desperation of the prosecution. They know how weak their case is. They have zero chance of convicting this man on murder 2.
Well, you know what? If you are in the jury box, there are 6 women who will judge George Zimmerman. The whole thing comes down to reasonable doubt. Is there reasonable doubt? And the defense has done a pretty good job presenting plenty.
Well, I see it a little differently, Steve. I see those 6 ladies putting themselves on that rainy night in that housing complex that has just been burglarized by 3 or 4 different groups of black youngsters from the adjacent community. So it's a dark night, a 6'2" hoodie-wearing stranger is in the immediate housing complex. How would the ladies of that jury have reacted? I submit that if they were armed, they would have shot and killed Tryavon Martin a lot sooner than George Zimmerman did.
Wow.
This is self-defense. Sure. When it doesn't matter that Zimmerman provoked it or that Zimmerman was out of line to be so aggressive and overzealous as a neighborhood watch captain or neighborhood vigilante, if you were. Once Tryavon Martin gets the upper hand, once he is on top of George Zimmerman and pummeling him, George Zimmerman, as those jurors putting themselves in Zimmerman's place, will surely say George Zimmerman had every right to use deadly force to prevent deadly force from being used on him.
So you're saying
it is a tragedy.
He is going to be found not guilty.
I believe that George Zimmerman will be acquitted. I really do believe that, and I hope that by saying it out front and other commentators joining me, that this will mitigate any possible outrage. Let people know this is not about the youngster. I see his parents in that courtroom, and my heart breaks for those parents. Absolutely. Sabrina Fulton and Tracy Martin are good people. They tried their best with this kid, and they are loving in every way. This is a horrible tragedy, and he only had Skittles and iced tea, and all that is true. But that is irrelevant when it comes to the criminal case and the affirmative defense of self-defense. Under Florida law, regardless of how an incident initiates, at some point, Zimmerman reasonably believed that his life was in danger. He had the right under Florida law to use deadly force to